of a former first place winner at the state level here in the room and can attest to it being my kids have placed at state at 5th and 6th and the middle school level, and it really is valuable and it carries on. But like I said, last year we only had 4 elementary schools participating and only 2 middle schools. Also only 1 high school, so the other high schools can participate as well. So here's the dates when you can do it. It's going to be both virtual and kind of hybrid at the district level, both virtual and in person. From each elementary school and middle school to the district fair. So each site can send their first and second place winners in each category. That means you can be sending up to 24 projects. Projects can be group, so you can have more than 1 student. So you could potentially be sending to the district science fair 50 kids. It's a really cool thing. Everything is linked in here in the presentation, so if you want to get information, you can do it that way. If you would like to volunteer to be a judge at the district science fair, we really do need some, so we encourage you to volunteer. Who can judge? We are actually even inviting some of our high school students to judge if they would like to at our elementary and middle school levels. So if you've got a student in the high school, I've got one who is kind of aged out of doing science projects. They don't want to do one again, but they really do have a lot of experience and they enjoy participating with their younger counterparts at the elementary. Encourage them to come in. And that's it. We're still waiting for Autumn. Then we're going to call up Miss Mikowski, who is going to talk to us about one of our really, really impressive programs with 6th grade leadership. But first, a question.
So when should the school level science fairs happen? If the district's like in January, should they be have, or should I get the details?
So the high school level, they would need to have their site fairs in probably December is what I would recommend. But for the elementary and middle school, they're actually pushed back. I was working with our district people and it's too hard for elementary to get it done before winter break. So we've deliberately delayed the elementary and middle school to afterwards. I recommend you do your site fair in late January or early February. I have up here, if you can click down here, all of our elementary science fair judging materials. It includes rubrics, it includes a judge's manual, it includes a description of the different categories. I've run the science fair at the elementary level for the last 10 years, and you can always reach out to me. I have lots of do's and don'ts. If you ever read my judge's manual, there is a reason for every single one of those rules.
And Megan will tell you about each one of them.
Some of them are really fun, like the why we don't allow electricity anymore. That was because one of my judges had a pacemaker, and I had a student who had created a Tesla coil, the coil thingy. Yes, and so we had to very quickly turn that off before her pacemaker went haywire. But yes, every single rule has a good story. But yes, please reach out. I would love to see more students involved from more campuses this year.
Back to pilot. Hi, I'm Rachel Mikowski, and I have kids at Shadow Mountain High School and Sonoran Sky Elementary, and I am actually choosing to talk about a really cool program we have at Sonoran Sky for all of our 6th grade students. It is called Pilot, preparing individuals for leadership opportunities to succeed. It is unique to our school. We are the only school that does it, which is one of the reasons I think it's really neat. All of our 6th graders are given kind of a leadership position within the school. They are all leaders. They are all the oldest inside the school. And so they start their 6th grade year getting sorted into one of 3 different groups. the community outreach, peer coaching, or school-wide assistance team, otherwise known as SWAT. In order to get put into one of these committees, they take assessment tests and surveys to see what their personality is best suited for. And then as sixth graders, they start off the year going to camp, learning to bond, learning what their teams will do. And yes, so she's showing us. This is our lovely camp. They have fun at camp too, but they're also learning how to work as teams and units. And then they come back to school as leaders. And here are some of the things they kind of do. As a SWAT team, they're going to be doing things like helping teachers take down bulletin boards, sharpening pencils for them. My oldest daughter was on SWAT team, and she used to go out to the kindergarten playground and help the kids figure out how to play Foursquare or collaborative games that kids do not know when they come into kindergarten, but they learn as they get older. So those sixth graders will come out there every Wednesday, and they will be on the playground, and they will take those kids and they will teach them about Foursquare, or they will kick around the soccer ball and show them how to play as a group. There's many other opportunities in SWAT. Another one is peer coaches, where a lot of these kids will, in the peer coaching, will actually go down to maybe a third grade classroom, and where there's not teachers, teachers will give them a student who's having trouble with writing or reading, and they will go out in the hall and actually work as tutors. Or can you help them correct this math sheet? They will go out and do that. So that's a lot of what peer coaching will do. And then community outreach is a totally different entity. These top two photos are community outreach. These kids help with keeping recycling going around the school. They also run drives, so they would participate in like the cabinet drive. In the past, they've gotten blankets and toys for an animal shelter. Whatever it is they choose to do for the year is kind of what they do, but it's larger community outreach versus within the school and within the school. That last picture of the trash cans, they just did this already this year. These kids are working on recycling, but they noticed we needed new recycling bins. In order to get financing, they were encouraged to go down to our own personal PTO meeting, bring the budget, get approval, order the cans. And I know it looks simple, but they were really proud to kind of go through and figure out how to do that as a team. So that's their very first project. This year, they will continue doing this all year long, and it's just a wonderful program at the school. Everybody looks forward to getting into sixth grade, earning their pilot t-shirt. It's a different color every year. This year it's blue. Trying to think. At the end, we have a pilot's culmination. It's our graduation. We theme it on their pilots. They graduate by team. These kids are learning how to be leaders, how to go out into the community and give back, but also how to, manage projects and work with other people. And we're really proud of our pilots at Snow Sky.
That's really cool.
You have a question? Yeah.
Did you say all the sixth graders are in it?
Yes, all the sixth graders get sorted into it. Yep.
When, during the school day, when do they do all of these things?
Wednesday mornings, they'll start out
Before school or actually during?
during school hours.
Instruction time.
Mhm.
Okay, and they incorporate all.
Yes.
that. Okay.
Anyone else? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna hopefully.
Hopefully.
She sent me the most. This is what I'll start off with. She sent me the most wonderful video. It is outsmarting me on every opportunity. So we're gonna see
Hopefully.
if I can make the video work.
And we'll see if I can make the video work.
So, good morning. My name is.
Oh, you want to show it now?
I was just going to tell you when to cue
Yes,
it.
you can. I told you the video was smarter than. Okay, sorry.
Okay, well, my name is Layla Sakely, and I'm on the board at Explore Middle School. I'm actually a graduate of this district, so I've been here for a long time. I've had 3 children, and they're making their way through all the schools. But So last year, an idea came to our board, and we thought we would try to adopt some type of a sister program at a different school, because another middle school. And so we chose Greenway Middle School. And so it's very young and we're just starting out, but we've been working with Nydia. And what we wanted to do was invite the whole school, like not just do a PTO, but actually have the kids involved and parents involved. So this year we started out introducing the program to our school with a video that Nydia made along with a wish list for their teachers. So we do want to support your teachers and staff because you are the president of the PTO. So the counselor is actually a PTO. So I don't know how large your PTO is, but so we wanted to support them. And we have lots of good ideas for, hopefully we can meet and plan something. We were thinking maybe like Thanksgiving drive or Christmas presents to the staff. So we want to give back and have the kids involved. So I just wanted to introduce the program a little bit because Greenway sent this to us, and this is what we sent to the parents. So, sure.
Awesome.
Hit the.
She did a great job.
So we had also the idea to involve the National Junior Honor Society because they always have to give hours back. So we're just going to incorporate something, and hopefully this is
Thank you.
May I check in on our? No rush. I just don't want to keep everybody really, really wants to meet our bird friend who is here with us today. I don't
Hi,
know.
can you hear me?
Hera we cannot connect in with Hera, can we?
Perhaps.
We might
I'm
come
here.
back
Can you hear
to
me?
this one as well, ladies and gentlemen.
I can talk about Snapchat if you can't get her.
I would love to have you. She has some beautiful slides to help as well, if you would like to.
You just need the audio here.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Do you want me to put my audio on?
Yeah, do that. That's a great idea. Oh, because they can hear her.
Yeah, ours are both muted. Go ahead. Kara, can you talk?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Hello?
I have an echo here, you're fine.
Oh, okay. So there's a little echo. Now the echo's gone. So I hope you can hear me. My name is Hera. I am I'm PTSO president at Mountain Trail, and we wanted to share our snack shack information with the parents. If you go to the next slide, so this is our space, and we're very lucky to have the space, and that I think is a big part of our program, but it is managed completely by PTSO, and we operate it only during lunch, and at our school we only have one lunch period for all the students, and so it's from 12:30 to 1:10 most days. We waited to start till this year after Labor Day, just try and get everything started, but it is a fundraiser for PTSO. We offer a variety of snacks. We do not offer, I guess, like traditional candy per se. And it is a way for parents to volunteer. So here's what you need to have a successful snack shack. You do need volunteers. So we have 2 parents per day. We use Sign of Genius. We do publish the link for the Sign Up Genius in email first, and that email is sent by our principal, and then we post it on Facebook, I think in the next day or two, just give everyone a chance to sign up. And then our coordinator does have a backup list for last minute cancellations, which does happen because things, of course, will come up. Our coordinator it's a PTSO exec position. It's Christy Moore this year, and she's fantastic. She coordinates all the volunteers, and she orders the food to the school and makes sure that our inventory stays current. In terms of the snacks, essentially you can't have a snack shack without hot Cheetos and Gatorade, but not the orange color. That is the least popular. We also have a variety of chips, cookies, and fruit snacks. And then I think this year we're going to work on like maybe one Friday a month having like a special treat of some kind for sale. Everything is $1 or less at our snack shack. We keep petty cash in the safe in the office, and we do make frequent deposits. There's a lot of coin. But just to go over, so from last year's budget, we had an income of about $18,000 for the year, with an expense of just $10,000. So for us, it's our major fundraiser, because we have not done a like the more traditional school-wide fundraiser in the last few years. Next slide. So these are just some pictures. So the first one, and then the one on the bottom, this is our inventory space in the back of our snack shack, just to show you kind of like how much room that we use for it. And then on the top right, so we have a bulletin board that we station in front of the snack shack, so kids can see what we have in stock that day, so they know when they come up to the window the things that they can ask for. And we do it by picture. So it is kid friendly, easy to use. And I think those are all the slides I had. Are there any questions? And unfortunately, I can't hear the audience in the room. So. Are there any questions on chat?
It's a good idea to a lot of schools.
Hera, so
Yes.
we're gonna give you just a second, because we're having to unmute different computers, but I think you can probably hear us now. So Megan posed a great question. If somebody wanted to get this organized and going at their campus, who should they reach out to? And I'm gonna mute so you can answer that question.
So feel free to reach out to our PTSO email, because right now the whole exec board kind of shares it. And it's mtmsptso@gmail.com. And we can help get you started. You'll also, I would recommend getting with your principal, because space will be a main concern. It's not only having the space to sell the snacks, but it's having the storage space also.
Thank you, Hera.
You're welcome.
Autumn, would you come up? This is Autumn from Sunny Doodles. She helps, well, she's primarily responsible for training and raising and breeding fabulous facility dogs that then go into the schools, because she is also incredibly generous and donates a dog to schools that are able to, she will tell you more, provide a handler.
So thank you so much. I'm really excited to be able to get you guys some information. But Megan is Autumn, I live in Gilbert. Years ago, I got into breeding. We have allergies, so we ended up with doodles and poodles versus shedding dogs. I'm a mom of 4. My oldest is 22, my youngest is 8. I have 2 grandbabies, so school's in my top of priorities, and it probably will be for a very long time. Since, this new set of kids, I'm like, oh my gosh, like here we go again. My service has been number 1 for me when I got started. It's the only reason I breed. It's what I enjoy the most. Pets are great. God, not everybody needs a service dog. Pets are amazing. For me, the side of community giving back, that's my interest. I know Marissa. So Marissa's followed me for a while, and we were able to connect, and she has one of my dogs. So a while back, I started service. I got into service dogs. And at the time I wanted to get in for diabetic alert, I wasn't ready. So I kind of switched gears and started out with developing a program for the community where we could get dogs in schools to support kids. And so here we are. Sunny Schools is my project. We are in 2 schools currently, and then we have Desert Ridge coming up this December. And so we'll be at Desert Ridge as well. I'll kind of like jump forward and make it quick since there's a lot of information, and so there's questions, please ask and we'll get them answered. But we donate dogs to handlers in schools. It's a process. So we have schools apply. We meet with a handler. We go through an interviewing process, and we decide if it's going to be a good fit for the school, for the handler, for the dog. And if so, we move forward. Sunny Doodles donates one of our puppies to the Sunny Schools project. And then we hand off training to Canine Collaboration. This is Megan. So we work together. Me as the breeder, and I raise the puppies to 8 weeks, and then we turn them over to Canine Collaboration for training. So they have trained our last 2 school facility dogs, and the one that's going to Desert Ridge High School will also be with them as well. In order to get dogs in schools, it's a district decision. So the district first has to have permission or give permission. And once the district gives permission, it's up to the individual school principal to decide whether they want to support the program or not. So.
But they can start the process in a way by reaching out to you.
Yep. I should have my email and website on some information. I do I have a couple handouts, so if anybody's interested, they can absolutely take one. But it's an application. It's an application, or you just text or call me direct to get things, basically the interviewing process started. And it's not even an interviewing process. It's making sure that everything lines up and it's going to be all around, it's going to be a good fit for everybody.
What is the main purpose of having dogs in schools? And is it just elementary schools, or is it K through 12?
Yeah, so K through 12 for sure. And this can relate. This doesn't necessarily just have to be a school. That we can go into facility type settings. where dogs are of huge benefit. But I'll answer that question quick. Through service training and when I started getting into that, I didn't have kids at the time who needed any sort of like services or any sort of like support from me deciding to move forward with this Sunny School project. But what ended up happening is when my 11-year-old was in kindergarten, I'm actually friends with his kindergarten teacher and have been for years. But she came to me and she was like, I think Gavin's dyslexic. And I was like, oh, so young. It's not even usually diagnosed till 2nd or 3rd grade. Okay. And so we watched him all throughout. By the time he got to 2nd grade, COVID hit. He came home. And I was like, whoa, what are, I had 2 other kids at home already. And I would get them set up to do their work at home. They would, fly through it. And then I had Gavin. And I would explain to Gavin and I would walk away and I would come back and he'd still be sitting there. And I was like, whoa, like, wow, so different. At that time, we started getting testing done for him. And even though Sunny Schools was started before this, it was in the works before this. It's taken a very long time to play out and get where we are right now. But the testing, the first set of testing happened, and he came home. No, the school psychologist called, and she was like, "Hey, Autumn, I just want to let you know I have Gavin in my office. We're in the first part of testing, and he can't calm down." What? Gavin? Gavin's my 10-year-old, like, like, like life is good. Even when he couldn't do his homework, he was still like, well, that's, the answer is 36. It wasn't, but he was totally, confident in his answer. So a lack of confidence wasn't his issue. He just simply couldn't put the layers of the homework together in order to be able to do it. Crying, anxiety, none of that has ever been a part of him. Not before and not now. During testing, I don't know about testing. I don't know what it was, but it was bad. The phone calls were terrible. And he would come home depleted. He would come home sad, blank, didn't want to even have a conversation. And this, I think testing was he had to go through multiple sets of testing. One we did outside of the school, one we did in the school, and then he had another set of tests done by the school psychologist because she didn't quite agree with the middle testing. So it was a lot. And like he would come home and I would like pace and I'm like, what's so bad? I don't understand. What can be so difficult about taking these tests? But something, it gave him anxiety, and trying to do these things that they were asking of him in a timely manner. And he was tested in a room by himself with the school psychologist and nothing, in a very blank room. And after a couple days, I was like, oh, my standard golden doodle sitting right next to me in the kitchen, and he's petting him, and he's like laying on the floor and rolling around. I could send him. I'm like, why can't I just send Wilson in with Gavin through the testing? Like, how nice would that be? And then I was like, this needs to happen like now. And so that's when, it was a slow process because it takes a lot of planning, because you have to pick your parents for the temperament. And it can't be one-sided. You can't have one good parent and you can't have one bad parent and put them together and expect a litter of well-tempered puppies, all of them. the more well-tempered puppies you have, the bigger selection you have to choose from. And so along, planning is insane because you have to meet the parents, or even you want to know the grandparents. And
I just wanted to know that of the 2 schools that currently have
Yeah.
the beetle dog,
Mhm.
What positions do the handlers hold in the school?
so far, 2 social workers, and Desert Ridge will be a counselor. We have tried, we have said no a few times because it's not the school, it's the handler and their daily activities. And we need to ensure, there's a lot of boxes to check because we have to make sure that the handler is prepared for the training, and she'll talk about the training. That their schedule is set up correctly during the day, and that they have the dog will have an area of a room to settle in as well.
So we have schools in the Paradise Valley School District, I don't know if Desert Ridge is.
Sure. I don't know where they are either. Okay.
Oh, it's a
Okay.
Mesa.
It's a
Okay,
Mesa.
do we have a school in Paradise Valley?
No.
This is probably this is one we would like
So we
to
need,
see.
so the district
Introduce.
has not approved this program that we know
We are
of.
not here yet. They have, they're at Boulder Creek, not Boulder Creek, Paradise Valley.
Sure.
Because Arizona has a very limited number of school names. so
Yeah.
we just keep using them for all schools.
Indeed.
That's
True. Seriously.
But we've had, our UPC reps brought this program to us because this is something that we want to make sure our parents are aware of, and our parent groups are aware of, in case you have the ability to start the process. And it is a long process. It is a process that you start sooner rather than later if you are interested in it.
So it's usually a staff member who, is it not a parent?
So the handler has to be in the school with the dog during the day.
Well, parents could be too, so.
If a parent was in the
So it's
school,
an every day, 24,
Yeah.
7 days, 5 days a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
definitely. But if a parent could do that, 100% yes, we would absolutely look at that.
We have at my daughter's school, and she is not attending PV. But at her school, there is a parent handler for the facility dog that is on their campus.
Yeah.
And the reduction in anxiety is dramatic, and they have been kind of quantifying it. They also have the pet available when the kids are doing testing, and they just sit and like
My dog went to
maul the
ASU
dog while they're doing their testing.
Yeah.
finals week, so they can all put dogs, and we had all our therapy dogs.
Yeah.
It does really stress.
It's, even for a typical, so not Boulder Creek, Superstitions. So I went into Superstitions, and I introduced the dog to the school prior to the dog going home with the handler. And as I was walking out, I have the puppy in my hand, and I was talking with the social worker as we were walking out, and about from here to there, the back wall, a little girl was walking in crying like this. And, she got like 5 steps from me, and she looked up and she was like, and she was like, oh my gosh. And then the social worker, I don't remember her name, but she was like, are you having a bad morning? And she's like, yeah. And so she pet, his name's Champion now. She was petting Champion, and probably a minute, and tears were gone, and she like skipped away, and she even turned around and she was like, bye. And, I don't know what was upsetting for her that morning, but in that second I was like, 60 seconds, and it turned her day around. And it's something, I don't get anything out of donating dogs to schools other than I really think they are beneficial, and I want my kids to have them. I want my grandkids to have them in school. I want kids who need them to have, to have them in school, and kids who don't need them to, walk by and give a little pat during the day. I think it's I think it's beneficial in so many ways.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yep.
awesome, thank you.
And then Megan, you train them.
Training.
Yeah, so I train them, and basically what we do is we have a program specifically for, and definitely I would be willing to kind of integrate the parents if that's something that can happen. But what we do as trainers is, I mean, we step in at 7 weeks and we go and we evaluate the litter, make sure that we pick the right one for the school specifically, but also for that handler, because as Autumn said, some of these handlers, they have sets of likes that are totally different. So we make sure that that dog fits that family, but also fits that school. And we also make sure sizing, everything like that matches for everyone. But we also do the training. So we have a program that starts, so they get the puppy at 8 weeks. We have a video program that they can buy, and it gets them through the first 10 weeks. The reason I say 10 weeks is at 18 weeks approximately, your puppy is ready to go out in public and be feet on the ground and make sure that they're socialized and they're getting into our classes. Our classes are half price for any teacher, social worker, any facility dog. So that helps with all of that. And then we go into testing. So our testing, we do AKC, Canine Good Citizen. So we do the 3 tests. We do the puppy one too. So 4 tests. So the Star Puppy, the CGC, which is just the Canine Good Citizen. And then we do the community and then urban. So it goes all the way through. And then we also do a facility dog test at 18 months. So our puppies that we have in the schools have not even yet gone through the facility dog test, but they have all done the CGCs. So generally we talk to the district and make sure that their kind of testing procedures line up with ours, and we make sure that we're doing the right thing. So I absolutely think that because if parents want to be there, it would also help the puppies, because this is a lot of work for a puppy, right? We think about an 8-hour day with these puppies, that's a lot for our dogs, okay? So them being in there, it's longer days than a therapy dog. You take a therapy dog in and they do 1 to 2 hours, but these guys are in the classrooms for a long time. Now, granted, they get a lot of time to chill and be with that social worker or whoever is with them. But we also want to make sure that we've got that puppy ready to go whenever a kid comes in. And we've had a lot of success with these guys already. I get stories daily, and they also help these social workers. So I had a social worker who had an awful day the other day, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, he came and he helped me and I was fine." So it's really good for everyone.
We all need
in the
one.
school. So.
Can you explain some of the past work that we saw with the activity?
So the things that the dogs can help with, they can do DPT, which is deep pressure therapy. They lay on the lap of the kid, or they lean on the kid, or put pressure on the kid so that they can calm the parasympathetic nervous system. So it calms that system down and really chills the kid out. Another thing that they can do is behavior interaction, which is if their kiddo is having a really bad day and a lot of kids pick at their skin or anything like that, we can kind of mitigate some of those things, as well as just being that comfort in a testing setting or anything like that. So those ears to pet, you probably saw I do it to my boy. So we got the ears, we got the fluff, and we can kind of just calm down just with that dog in that area.
So if anybody here is interested in getting more information from you, they have your phone number.
Yeah.
But can you tell them what your email is?
Yeah.
So we can get
definitely.
that
I
on
have
there?
a couple yeah.
Or they're on
I
your
can-
sheets.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you say, I'm sorry, could you say it out loud just for our people are
Yeah,
at home?
So, there are sheets, flyers and cards. Did you want me to go ahead and say the email?
Would you mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the email for Autumn is gonna be, Autumn, AUTU, M as in Mary, N as in Nancy, period. FERRIAN as in Nancy @gmail.com.
Thank you.
And then, And then for canine collaborations, it's info, so IN as in Nancy, FO, at canine. It's CAN as in Nancy, IN as in Nancy, E as in elephant, collaborations, COLLA, B as in boy, ORAT as in Tammy, ION as in Nancy, S as in Sam.com.
And I will add those emails to the slide deck eventually. Soon, but maybe tomorrow. You guys will get them in the slide deck as well.
Sounds good. If anybody's interested too, well, we are preparing for Truly and Cooper's litter. Truly's due October Halloween, and she is amazing. Cooper's amazing. We had a great puppy from their last litter who went to Superstition, but this puppy will be going to Desert Ridge out of her second litter. And so if anybody wants to follow along as that happens, you can visit, actually both of our social media accounts will follow the process for Desert Ridge High School as well.
Cool. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Do you remember where we left off? Okay, right there. We definitely would like your flyers. I'm going to put the flyers over there with our flyers about from the arts program. And anyone who's interested, there will be another litter, and love to see them. Thank you. Okay, Sky Crossing, are you here? Sky Crossing's in the house. Come on down, Sky Crossing.
Hi, good morning. I'm Deanna and this is Lauren. Hi, and we're here with Sky Crossing. This is our first year joining UPC, and it's our second year as in our elementary school. It's a brand new school. We're here. Thank you. We're very new. We have a makerspace in our school. It is in our multi-purpose wing. So we just wanted to show off this space. It's really where the kids can come together and collaborate on STEM projects and things that are going on. The room, you can see they can move the tables around. They can kind of situate it as they like. There's electrical cords from the ceilings. If you want to hit the, there's the room is decorated with, we have various antique model planes that were donated by community members. There's our snack kits that are already in there for the kiddos. We did donation drives to collect many of the things in their classroom. We will also be having our 3D printer, which is in this room. So the makerspace provides the kids the opportunity to innovate real world applications for classroom concepts, giving them new opportunities in learning, critical thinking, problem solving skills, and just a wide range of new 21st century skills, STEM area. So, very excited about it. Can we go to the next one?
If a campus wanted to implement a makerspace on their site, what is the first thing they need to do?
Well, I guess have the facility in the room, maybe consider open-ended tables or something they can move around.
Yeah, but we even use our room for like book fairs, like it's very multi-purpose. So.
And what's the initial financial commitment that a parent group would need to budget for in order to have a successful makerspace?
Yeah, we would have to go back and.
No, it was built in with the school, so.
Yours is fully integrated.
It is,
Yeah.
yes. In the multi-purpose area, yeah.
When did the students use it? Is it like a lunchroom, a lunch?
Well, with their, I guess their monthly STEM collaboration, I know I have a kindergartner and a third grader, they do buddy work in there where they, we're doing like a catapult kind of a project, and third grade or kindergartner is working with, I believe, their fifth grade buddies. So they had done that in September. So they'll be doing like a lot of stuff, collaborative work.
So Hera commented on here that a minimum of $10,000 is needed to get that launched.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because like the amount of tables and chairs, but I think you could, if you had the space, you could be creative. You don't need like that exact formula. I think it helps. There's a picture of like the amount of storage in that room is really cool. And I think that's a big piece, like the whole wall has space for, like they have us send in, paper towel rolls and the tubes, and they're collecting things for different projects.
Yes, that they do the STEM. Well, STEM's kind of integrated in our day-to-day.
I thought I saw on your website, maybe I'm mixing this up, but is there a regular parent volunteer who works in the makerspace, or do you have parent volunteers in your makerspace?
Not all the time. They come in and, I mean, our PTO is all involved. But it's available for students.
Like we have a 3D printer coming and parents gonna help like manage that piece. Cause like that is like a technical support piece. But we have parents that come in and help organize and things like that, but it's really more of a teacher student space. Yeah.
The teachers can kind of lead off in there, and then, we kind of use it as we can. Art experience, I know, will be, they do meetings in there, and then we'll be kind of launching it out of that room.
That is so cool.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, and tell your students in the makerspace to sign up for the science fair. Do we have any fireside parts?
I didn't know I was actually presenting. I'm Marissa Indigo, and
Thank you.
We launched a program at Fireside Elementary about 3 years ago, pre-COVID, when we found out that Larkspur Elementary was not sending their kids to Catalina for the field trip that most of our elementary schools in the district get to participate in. So we encouraged, and they don't go due to lack of funding. So Larkspur is one of the Title I schools in our district. So we encouraged families from Fireside, if they didn't have, sixth graders themselves that they were doing their tax credit donations to send their own kids to Catalina, maybe they had younger kids in the school, we encouraged them to make their tax credit donations to Larkspur specifically for the Catalina trip. So the trip unfortunately ended up getting canceled due to COVID, but the great news is it is back on. And with the funds that our parents from Fireside donated to the Larkspur families, we will be sending 35 kids from Larkspur Elementary to Catalina March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And they will be traveling on the same date as the Fireside kids. So, for many of the kids at Fireside, it's an amazing opportunity that they go on vacations with their families and get to experience these things. A lot of the kids from Larkspur Elementary have never left the state of Arizona, let alone seen the ocean. So we are just super, super excited that not only do our Fireside kids get to experience it, but that really with no cost at all to our families, we were able to send some of our tax credit donations to allow the Larkspur kids this opportunity. So it just gives us some creativity when you're thinking about tax credit donations. We always want to send them right to our school, but to just remember that there are many schools in our district that have various needs. We're not all created equal. So if you don't have something specific that you're designating your tax credit funds for, to start a program with a partner school in the district is a pretty cool idea. So can't wait for March.
Sure. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
This is
Yes, that's Robbie.
Horizons, but
Yep.
that's fine. So we get to,
You guys are on the same slide. You're sharing.
come on up.
You're sharing a slide.
Well, I'm not even sure.
It does.
So I'm Melissa Schwartz, and I'm here on behalf of Paradise Valley High School PTO. I'm actually the Crest president, and one of the reasons I was asked to come in is because as one of the booster organizations, we use this event as one of our biggest fundraisers for Crest. For those that don't know, Crest is about 1/3 of our campus, but we are PV first and then Crest second. So it is a big opportunity for our parents to participate in a school-wide auction. What I mean by that is at the high school level, for those of you in middle school or elementary school, high school levels, we have a PTO, one PTO for the high school. Underneath that PTO are all of the booster organizations. So whether it be band or choir or football or soccer or swim or tennis or Crest, all of those organizations are underneath the main PTO. We're very blessed at PV, and I understand Horizon does the same thing in Pinnacle as well. We do a big auction each year, and it became bigger, believe it or not, for us during COVID of all things. We went ahead and did the auction as COVID was still in process, but we were slowly back at school. There were a lot of things that weren't able to be part of the auction anymore that we couldn't get. But all of the groups, all of the booster groups can participate if they want to get donations to have as a part of the auction. And we do use 32auctions.com, just like Horizon does. Our PTO is responsible for negotiating that contract, getting that set up with 32 auctions. Each of the booster groups can submit their donations to this bigger auction, which means everybody on the campus gets sent information about this one huge auction. And that means that if somebody in Crest or say in band, right? We have a lot of kids in band, but say the swim club, right? You've only got 70 kids in swim. Instead of swim doing their own little auction, you've got something that's going to the entire campus, right? And it may not be a swim parent that buys whatever was donated by swim. It could be anybody else purchases it, but swim gets to get the money from it. And that's the important part, right? Whoever does the donation gets the money from it. Each of our school booster groups pay a fee to be in the auction, but then they get the proceeds from whatever items they had donated. Now, Crest, we have our own parent that collects all of our donations. We have approximately 10 to 12 baskets that we do and raise quite a bit of money by doing that. Again, we also represent about 1/3 of the campus overall. So, and some of those parents also donate to the PTO. Now, something that PV does, and I don't know if Horizon and Pinnacle do this, we allow our school groups to also donate things because our students have their own groups. So our orchestra club or our drama club that are student run, not parent run, but student run, can also collect donations. The key is the parents can't participate. Has to be student created and student donated. And those items then go back to those student clubs. And we can get that money in the bookstore sent into their account so that they can use those funds for things they need. In addition, part of that is our welding club, which is a big hit because they donate a ton of welding items that are a big hit for families. And we usually do the auction in November. So it suits it well because it's done and in order for Christmas that you can give gifts. But there are a lot of cool things, kind of like our pottery thing that happens every year. So ceramics, things like that that get done that have a broader audience to be able to have anybody on the auction be able to see those items and purchase them. However, I don't think we mail or ship those welding items. They're a little bit heavy. So over COVID, we launched this again. They had a goal of $10,000. We had 134 auctions. We raised 8,200. But in addition to the items that we had, any club or booster group that participates gets a donation button on there. They have to have some donations as well, but they get just a donate button if they're participating.
And we did have a parent that gave an additional $1,800. So we reached the $10,000 goal. And what was it, 2020 or 2021? The following year, we followed up and thought we weren't going to be able to do this again right afterwards because we thought we wouldn't have the bandwidth. We ended up raising $15,000. So we are well on our way to our next auction and looking forward to it in a couple of weeks.
Well, another thing I get to share, each of our programs have their own. Baseball's got their own huge golf tournament. So I'm here with the choir this year. A couple years ago, we had probably 400 students. We're down to 250. This is our second year getting back into what we need to do. And so this year we do 32 auctions, and this year we're adding it to our, pamphlet. So the QR will be on it. We also set it up live, and so we'll be doing that later today, and we'll have QR codes throughout. We last year had 54 items. This year we have 100, and the parents do go find this stuff, and the kids also help if they can. Your child, if they get the donation, they get 45% of the money that is raised for their choir tour or their costumes or whatever they want to do. So that's kind of nice. And the rest goes back to choir. I don't know. I don't have any questions. I had a QR code made up also. It's on our
Love
website.
that.
It's
That's
nice.
awesome.
And then we're gonna have it, just labeled everywhere. I think there's a football game Friday. We're gonna put it out on the cars. We're just trying to come up with ideas.
And so PV also does have some of our groups do like in terms of that, our band and music program does do their own auction in the spring. That is our fundraiser at our musical. So we do something similar and do it in person because we actually have the baskets out every night of the musical. But this one that I was talking about is a school-wide event, which allows everybody to participate, especially for some of those newer boosters. It's hard for them to get off the ground, right? And to do a fundraiser, especially if they're a small group. So it has been very helpful for some of those to really be able to participate.
I just was participated in a friend's school's silent auction, and they had a slightly different website, probably about the same. One thing I loved about it, because when my kids were in school, we did the silent auction on a piece of paper. So you had to like hover, right, to make sure you got your name on. But they have this thing called auto bid.
Yes.
It says 32 auctions,
Yes.
the same thing. So you can decide ahead of time, I'm willing to pay X. And if you're the first one who's willing to pay X, you win it. And if nobody else is willing to bid on it, you get it for the cheaper price. It's like a win-win. It's fantastic. Everybody should try it.
So it's kind of
so
like
nice.
eBay buy it now. So there's a buy it now price. So it's unlike that when you don't go to a lower price. You can buy it right then and you lock it off and it's yours.
Auto bid is, okay, let's say the opening
Oh,
bid.
yes, yes,
Let's
it
say
will
the
rank
opening
you up.
bid is $10 and I'm willing to spend 20 and it's dollar income. right?
Yes,
So if I do 10, somebody else does 11, it'll automatically put me in at 12. If nobody else bids, I buy it at 12. If
yes, it
somebody else
does.
is willing to spend 20, but I committed first, then, we both say 20, but I did it. I mean, it's just beautiful.
It's fun for the bidder.
It's fantastic.
I have a question, Robbie. So I know you've been like lead of auctions and for years and years and years doing this. So I guess one question I have is like, where's like the heaviest lift, would you say, like for somebody that maybe wanted to do something like this, and I know you do a lot of this as one person, and so I guess just could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, 'cause today, this is my last year, so I'm trying to show people how to do it for the future. So they have a great Google form that someone had made up, and so then they put it in, go straight to it. Keeps track of who donated, how much, the fair value, and who to reach out to. Gives you some email addresses of people who donated before. Finding a group of parents that will help you. Because a lot of people like auctions. And it's not hard if you have a piece of paper and you can walk into a school. And we already have a pre-made sheet. You can just change the dates. It's on our website for the parents. So that's easy. And then you need to give yourself 3 or 4 months to start finding this stuff. I have found that ours is in October. It's been so much easier than April because that's when all the elementary schools are out looking. So if you're in elementary school, it's great. But if you're in high school, you're like, oh, I've already donated this year. So it depends on what group your kid's in. And then starting early, putting your information in to your site because you will find mistakes. Or, like this year, like everybody who donated, I copy pasted and I sent it out to every parent that donated. Said, look at it, make sure it looks good, because they're the ones that are going to have to deal with it. If they don't have the right expiration date, or they don't have it in your hand, and make sure you have your item in your hand before you make it live.
That's a good tip.
Because I have Mountainside right now. It's still at the building, and I'm like, okay, it's hiding. So you can hide items, put them on there, and then as soon as you get in your hand, you can unhide it, and it makes it live.
You can prep it, right?
And so that's nice. You can change the pictures as you go. If something comes up wrong, you can change it. Like, oh, I see it says it expires in 2021. You're like, ooh, uh-oh. And you can just edit it really quickly. I changed a picture on ours last night because our kids have new pictures online, so we can change that.
So it's pretty user-friendly platform.
Horizon has a new one they're trying out this year also.
So you're not doing 32 auctions?
I'm doing this one, but the main high school is doing a different, their PTO is doing a big one. And they may take a little bit less percentage, I think, 32 auctions, 2.9. But that's pretty normal. This one might be like 2.5 or something.
So we have, one of the things Crest found out is we have our own coordinators, I said, and what she found out worked was sending out a sign-up genius that asked for particular themed items to create those baskets. So that way she was able to say, okay, let's do a movie night and get donations specific to the movie night. It helped get our parents motivated to donate, because sometimes you say, donate anything, and they're like, I don't know what to donate, right? So we tried to create some themed baskets. Van did that as well, trying to get, so they had some coffee mugs and a know what to give to help out. We also have our PTO itself has donation letters, and we send them out to the people that have donated in the past and try to get those donations for an overall PTO level. And then of course, a lot of our sports teams get, tickets to games, they get rounds of golf and things like that. We try to get them to combine them though. So if you've got a round of golf, get some golf balls, get some, a golf towel, something like that. So it's not just one item. We found if we do something that has multiple things, we get more money for it, especially when we have gift cards, because you might get the $25 for a gift card, but you usually will get much more if you add other things that have a generic dollar amount. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for hanging in there with me. You got Greyhawk and their amazing garden. And then we have a quick thing about our Hero Day, and then we'll release you.
Recovery too.
Well, yes, but you're Greyhawk, so Greyhawk has two things. So I was trying to not let them. Okay. Okay. Sure. Perfect.
Hi, I'm Elise Sparks. Thanks for hanging in. This is a long day. But I have three boys, 8th grade at Explorer, 6th grade at Greyhawk, and 2nd grade at Greyhawk. So I have led this project for the last few years, and it actually just opened the day before school started this fall. So we're super excited about it. It's been really hot, but now kids are starting to use it more and more. So the process actually started with a survey that Dorothy did to our parents saying, in our next couple of years, what should we do with the money that we raise through fundraising? So overwhelmingly, building something in that outdoor space was what rose to the top. So we used to have 2 portable buildings there prior to Pinnacle Prep being open. So it was actually a space that was used for learning. So we surveyed parents, teachers, what does an outdoor space look like? And an outdoor classroom looks different to a lot of different people. So is it picnic tables with umbrellas? Is it an outdoor STEM lab? Is it a play place? So we did a lot of surveying, a lot of research, and worked with actually an architectural design firm who worked almost pro bono with us, a friend of a friend, And they are retired professors from the University of Arizona. And one of them actually started the thesis program for thermal comfort, in case you're wondering if there was a thesis program for that. So they were incredibly helpful. It's MRT Design Group is their name. But they helped us with, these are some of the first three, or 1, 2, and then that's our completed outdoor classroom. So those are some pictures. And just how we formulated this. So moving on, actually at the first day when we opened this, district came out and helped us do interviews and a video that I'd love to share.
The little speaker on the right, there you go.
This outdoor space really impacts their learning because they're able to do this outdoor space really impacts their learning because they're able to do things on a much grander scale, things that we wouldn't be able to do in the classroom, like the pulleys and the gears. It just brings education to life for them, gets them highly engaged and involved.
For me, as the principal of this school, a space like this is so exceptional because we know that students learn by doing. And this space provides so many opportunities. It opens so many doors for us to really give our students experiential learning opportunities so they can really do some hands-on learning.
I think when we were making this space, a lot of people had said, oh, great, they'll be able to play outside. And to me, this is not a play place. This is a place where kids can learn. But at these ages, they do learn through play. So to me, it's really special. And the fact that they can do this outside in Arizona is just second to none. This outdoor classroom takes learning to the next step.
And then having this space out here and being able to bring that content in the classroom that we're learning and bringing it out here into this space where we can be outside with the fresh air, the blue sky, the sun, and just being able to have that open space where students can learn in that free environment really is important to me because it tells me that the students have a better opportunity of retaining and being engaged in the content. And then the more they learn, in the younger grades, the more they can build upon in the higher grades.
I also really appreciate this outdoor classroom space because it's a tangible illustration of what makes our school so exceptional, which is our community. This classroom serves as that illustration to, prospective Greyhawk families that can see that there's something special happening, not just in our building, but within this entire community, within this neighborhood.
And that teacher is near and dear to our heart.
They're now down more than 27 cents a gallon, Wisconsin, last week. 27 cents in Florida, 16 cents in Ohio.
So let's go to the last. Community support and corporate donations. So this ended up being over $200,000 in terms of the project. We started thinking 75 or 80 was going to be enough. And then luckily we had some more donations come in that we were able to continue to build off of. So we're just going to start with, let's just do amphitheater, and then let's do tables. And then, so we've definitely had several phases involved, but we were able to make this happen. So we'd invite you to come out and walk it and see the kids learning out there. It's really an interactive learning space.
Good job.
How did you, I'm assuming you had to work with the district in some way in order to make those hardscape changes. Did you guys find, and it's obviously a contractor was involved with the parents, because we just, came together on Saturday. It's a big project. So who did the PTO or did the district find your contract? Like what was that process like?
The PTO found the contractors. So I served as kind of the general contractor and kind of subbed it out. So we had a general contractor who did the amphitheater, but we had somebody else who did the pulley system, a different company who made the 60-inch world globe. We had another contractor pour the concrete, and had somebody paint the US map. So yes,
That's so good.
but it was great, and now it's really fun to see the kids out there. Yep.
Good job. How is the space handled? Is that part of the schedule, the master schedule? How does that work?
Good question. So the front office actually has a Google program where you sign up to use the classroom. It's broken into 4 areas. So the agriculture lab or sensory lab, where we have cilantro, mint, our LFI students and our pre-Kers do a lot of the watering of that area and tending to what that needs. But the other 3 areas, and certainly that area as well, you can sign up online for that. Through the I think so. Thank you.
Is there other? Yes.
They're coming.
They're coming. I apologize. We are still recording, but there are some people that are having to go to another meeting. It's somewhere they're headed off to.
Okay, so another thing that Greyhawk does is a food recovery program. This was started by Rhonda. I don't know if anybody knows her, but she
Yes.
started about 7 years ago.
From Sandpiper.
Sandpiper, and she had to fight so hard to get this program here, and so she paved the way. So she was literally diving in dumpsters to show how much food waste was happening at her school. So eventually she got it up and running. So there were a couple other schools that were doing it. We started ours. Jen Eisenstark and I were really inspired by her. So we started in November 2019. Eventually got it pushed through. And our first week, we collected 433 items. So this is the refrigerator. And Rhonda actually got our refrigerator donated. And then we got coolers donated. And so it didn't cost anything. The only thing that we needed was parent participation. And
It has to be food from the school.
so it has to be food purchased in the cafeteria, and we encourage them to eat everything they can, but there are always people that are out of time or not hungry. And so any of those items can get put in a bin and then put in the refrigerator. And then we have a parent, and sometimes the kids will come in the morning with the parents, load the coolers, and then the parent will take it to a food bank. And part of the problem was they're worried about liability, but there is a Good Samaritan law that protects schools specifically, but also food banks. And so if you have a good intention to give food, then you're protected. So that was a big one that we had to fight through. So the biggest thing that I realized in doing this was I ate lunch with my kindergarten, and people would just throw all the food away, and they can't take it home with them, which is crazy. They can't leave the cafeteria with it. So there was nothing else to do. If you bring your lunch, I think you can bring it back in your lunchbox, but if you purchase it there, you can't do it. So the kids were just not even thinking about it, throwing all these perfectly good items away. And so.
And they have to take the item. They don't have a choice to leave it. They have to take one healthy item.
Right, and you also have to take, you're supposed to take.
Whether you're going to drink the milk or not, you had to take it.
So anyway, so that's my spiel. And then, so I started it with Jen, and then Jill took over from me. So she's
So did you want to ask a question first?
I was just wondering how frequently you have the parents.
Oh, so I'll get
that at the food bank, and like if a regular
car or SUV is sufficient or need something bigger?
So I'll get into that now. Dorothy just teed this up, and I'll just give you a brief overview of how the program runs. My name is Jill. I have a second grader at Greyhawk myself. So who's involved is the lunch monitor, the students, and parents. The lunch monitor will encourage the kids to eat all their food. They have grown bodies. The purpose is not for them to specifically donate their food, just to be kind. So once they're done with lunch, the lunch monitor will say, if you have any unopened food that was purchased from the cafeteria, please bring it to the refrigerator. Then once a week on Wednesday morning, you have parents that sign up for our membership toolkit, which is our portal. They'll sign up, they'll come in Wednesday morning, they'll empty their fridge contents into a cooler, and they'll drive it to Harvest Compassion Center. That's the food bank that we partnered with based on proximity to our school, as well as their need at the time to accept the food. We implemented it, or Dorothy, I should say, and Jen in 2019. So this is our third year doing this. Obviously, the last 2 years with COVID, we weren't able to donate. So this is our first year that we're really up and running again. So that's pretty much the what and when. My son gave me this pipe cleaner to hold our paper so I wouldn't drop anything. And yeah, so 2 coolers, and most nowadays with our enrollment down, 1 cooler will hold it. And with during COVID, when there was free lunch, we had a lot more, and it slowed down now that there's no free lunch. Because this was before COVID, and very few of our kids actually buy lunch. And this, I would say the majority, well over the majority, don't buy lunch. And so these were just from the kids that bought lunch. It's just crazy how much you just toss in the trash. So we'd highly encourage you to start it at your school, and be happy to help. So the why we implement.
I was gonna say, if a school site is interested, who would they contact?
So you start with your principal. So you
Start
have
with
to
the
go through your
principal.
site council.
And if they
parent
want
teacher.
a roadmap, so to speak, can they borrow from you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go, I just had one quick thing to say about that. So to get started, one, you have to identify a local food bank that you would like to partner with. It doesn't have to be Harvest. There are plenty of them out there. Secure a fridge and a cooler. So we were fortunate enough to have them donated to us. But if you go online to like Nextdoor or OfferUp, you'll maybe luckily find somebody that's getting rid of one for free. In particular, the cooler should have wheels on it, because even though all these items are small, once you get them in the cooler, it's heavy to pick up. So to try to get it into the back of your car, you might need somebody to help you. And it is the parent volunteer that drives it. I think you were asking that before too, Harvard Compassion. Then you need to enlist volunteers for every Wednesday morning to come and load the food from the fridge to the cooler. And we encourage parents to have their kids participate in that, so the kids can themselves see how much food would have gone in the garbage that's now going to someone in need. Communicate the initiative. We had a memo that went out to the staff as well as the parents in the kids folder, just to make them aware of the program, for the parents to speak to the kids about why you're doing this. And obviously, if you have any questions, if anybody's looking forward to doing this, you can contact Dorothy, myself, Jen. We'd be happy to see it along with you. And my personal experience with this, around the same time that Dorothy went to school with her daughter, I went to lunch with my son. He got the cheese sandwich pack. There were 7 items in there. He was in pre-K at the time. He ate 2 of them. So 5 items went into the garbage, and it was just mind-blowing to think that's one student. How many, school-wide items are being tossed in the trash every day?
And the place that we go, Harvest, you can help load it in, and people are actually coming and getting, like the needy people are coming and getting directly off the shelf as we're putting it up.
And what they like about these items, you don't have to go home and prepare it. If you have a kid with you, they can eat an applesauce, a cheese stick, a milk right away.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really
Do you guys have a PTO email that we can add if people have questions?
Yeah, we do. UPC at Greyhawk.
Oh, your UPC?
At greyhawkpto.com.
Okay, we can use your, you can add your UPC thing in there, because I can see schools wanting to do this.
Yeah.
Hold a tree.
Absolutely.
You can go real fast. We're gonna we put your pictures
For
up. We
sure.
think you guys are awesome.
Look how cute these kids are. Is this? Yep, okay. So, BC, before COVID, we used to have a Heroes Day, around Veterans Day, where we would invite local, families who had military, active duty, service members, first responders, to come to school, and we would do a big breakfast, and the kids would make crafts, and we would write letters and sing songs to them, and it was very, very cute. When obviously during COVID, with our parents and our teachers having so much on their plate, it kind of looked like it was going to go away, and that broke our hearts. And so we didn't want that to happen. So what we did was we kind of made it bigger and tweaked it a little bit. We shifted it to incorporate the September 11th curriculum that is coming in, and really, really put the emphasis on first responders and helpers, anybody that is a helper. And between Boulder Creek and Mountain Trail Middle School, we have this beautiful shaded drive-through bus lane area. And so what we did is we did an outdoor drive-through parade for our students. And so this allowed us, this here is every name of every victim of September 11th. So we print it out and we put it on big boards so that the children can see it. It's on display all week long so that the children can see it, the families can see it. Benefit to this, as opposed to just veterans, is it incorporates our police officers, our fire department, everybody involved. The students spend all week making signs, and the older kiddos write letters to retired veterans, current veterans. We partner with our local BFW and American Legion. We invite everybody. We go to all of our local police departments, and the National Cemetery, we invite them, we invite everybody. The tough part about having a parade is if you need to go to an event, if you need to help somebody, you need to help somebody. You don't come to a parade. So sometimes we've done this, this is our second year. Sometimes we have 12 vehicles and they do a couple laps. Sometimes we have 25 vehicles. And so that's a tricky part, but the kiddos also understand that while we want them here so we can say thank you, it's most important that they go and they do their job. And so we take the, it doesn't cost us anything, the PTO. We use the same decorations over and over, so it's a free event. It's an opportunity for the kiddos to say thank you to all of our, we have retired grandparents and aunts and uncles. We've had service members stand in the back of the truck in full gear, waving and saying thank you. We also have, then when we're done, we take all of our signs and our letters that the kiddos have written, and we drop them off at local police departments, fire departments, American Legions, and so that they can feel that appreciation, whether they came to the parade or not. We also mail it to service members overseas.
That's really cool.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
And you do all of this with 0 budget and with just sending out a million asks.
Yeah, we just invite people, and that's the thing. You can invite anybody anywhere, within your community and then outside your local heroes. If you have an SRO, they're a great resource about who to talk to at location.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Okay, and that finally wraps us up. And even with going a full 90 minutes, that is only a very, very, very small portion of the fabulous things that we have happening in PV schools and around the district. So thank you all. Links and emails and contacts about all of these programs are available in the slide deck, which will be available online. Thank you.